Good Tuesday morning. I'm meteorologist Byron Douglas. Thank you for joining us here on our stream. We have alert days on the board through Saturday. This is due to Arctic cold. We're not expecting any major additional snow accumulations and kind of wind chill 0 to -10. We're seeing some improvements now at this hour. Winds have turned out of the southwest. So I'll let you just take this full for a moment. Now through Saturday, it's been a while. We'll have to go back and check. I have a homework assignment for myself. It's been a while since we've had back-to-back weekends where we featured Arctic air. A lot of times when we'll have some Arctic air, and we're about 7-8 days away from a big warm-up. That's not the case. Doesn't fit this time around. Jeff ran this cool graphic last night, went back and researched the snowiest Januaries. Of course, the late 70s were all brutal. 1977, 21.3 inches of snow. What was significant? 20 degrees below normal. I believe it's the coldest January on the books. Generally in the last, of course, the 1930s were cold as well. 1978, we had 10 inches of snow on the ground on this date back then. Of course, we have even more than that out there in spots right now. And 2026 with the snowstorm we had over the weekend. Overall, we're in that fifth position. 1951 was significant about that. As I take that full, February 2nd, we dropped to -23. That's the all-time coldest low. Now, you had some -20 to 25 readings in Owensboro after the big snowstorm there in 1994. Well, not often they have extreme cold warnings down in Houston. Covers our area, but this is scheduled. The National Weather Service should drop this off the board at 10, and we could see some reissuance of these extreme excessive cold warnings as we go through the weekend. Well, this is encouraging. The only winter advisories, where do you expect them? West coast of Michigan, western New York, up in Marquette, or up in there in the UP, and then up through northern stretches of Indiana. The advisories fit for 2 to 4 inches of snow, but that's well outside of our area. We'll run down some temps. I'm going to take these full, say good morning to some folks. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it as we go forward. To let me know where you're viewing from. Jared, good morning to you. Hope everyone's doing well. Paula, Rita. And if you have last-minute snow amounts that you've had, or how's the shoveling been going, look at this. -3 at Evansville. That's down. Yesterday we were at -15. Mount Carmel was at -25. So we're trending. Let's see what the latest trends are as we push it forward. Leslie Chapman from 14 News done a nice job out. She's been out in the Interceptor. We enjoyed her reports. Not bad for a kid that went to Arizona State. She feels right at home here with all this snow. Temps generally into the upper teens. That's for a feel-like temperature. So if you're out commuting here this morning, got to be at work here at 9, kind of in the teens, and then into the mid-20s as we go into the afternoon. Now, yesterday we only had a high of 9 above off that low of 0. We're trending slightly below normal. The purples are down in Florida. So some cold days there at the beach. We're trending below normal. So usually when this happens for a while, we'll be up into a pattern change, perhaps as we go into mid-February. This takes us out to the 9th, though. We're still trending below normal. So we'll be susceptible to any clipper systems that develop that could yield a little snow. But during that time frame, we're going to be drier than average. So there's the red for the alert. Wind chill 0 to -5, -1 tonight. That's not going to be a record. The records were smashes back in 1963. We went as low as -18. That covers the morning of the 28th. And wind chills tomorrow briefly 0 to -5 and then into the mid-20s. So the next few days, most of our clouds will stretch during the afternoon. We'll have some scattered or broken cloud layers at 2,000 to 4,000 feet. What you start to see in here during the afternoon, and it could belt out a flurry or two. So we'll be trending with increasing clouds as we go into the afternoon. I'm just going to move these along because this cold air could crank out a few flurries. And then on Thursday, introduced a scattered snow shower or two. Winds will be out of the north, but there's not enough moisture to really yield much. So I think a few flurries, spotty snow showers develop, but they were generally east. This takes us into Thursday night. And we'll have to see if any clippers develop, but this is the GFS, a mid-range model going out. So you get some snow showers, a little disturbance to our south. Some snow showers potentially into Nashville, points to the south. And then on Saturday, we could see a few scattered snow showers during that stretch. This takes us into Saturday afternoon. Anything punching in from the north wouldn't have much in the way of moisture, but it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And all the precipitation, again, would be all snow. So I'll take the 7-day full. I mean, you can see, we talked with Jeff yesterday. It was like, let's extend these alert days out to Saturday, and you can see why. 4 above Saturday morning, even 5 above on Sunday. But at least there's no major snowstorms out there lurking. And for the season, we've had a little over 14 inches of snow. So I'll let that 7-day marinate for a moment. Laura, good morning to you. And I hope everyone's having a great morning out there. So that's the latest as far as our cold weather is concerned. Mitch and Casey are in here. They'll have more. They're going to have an update here in a few minutes. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us here, staying on for the news portion of our 8:30 stream show. I'm Mitch Carter.
And I'm Casey Mason. We're glad to have you join us here on our streaming show, like Mitch said. Of course, Byron Douglas, our main headline here this morning as we remain on alert, this time for the aftermath of all of that snow and ice, now dealing with those frigid, dangerously cold temperatures. Let's go ahead and get to a few headlines we want to recap for you today. So road crews across the tri-state are still just out there working to clear those roads for you right now. If you haven't been out yet, just to let you know here, most of those main roadways are pretty passable at this time. However, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done on many other roadways, especially those county roads, side roads out there. Now, this includes, of course, like I said, side roads, also entrances to your parking lots, which still just have a heavy buildup of a lot of snow. Officials say that secondary routes should be hit later this week. We know snow plows and salt trucks, they've been out there working since the weekend, just really nonstop and not stopping anytime soon. The superintendent of the Vanderburgh County Highway Department says if you do get out, just make sure you give plenty of room to those road crews.
Some of these roads, especially in the outer part of the county, they're not exactly clear. We do have a lane for you to get through, but it could be narrow at times. So just scoot over, give them a little space, and be careful with them.
Officials say as things start to open back up here, of course, it's going to bring some more traffic with it. They say if you still are able to, maybe you have a work from home situation or don't need to get out, go ahead and just stay home. This, of course, will give workers as much space as possible to work and get those road clears for you.
And because of all this dangerous weather out there and the current road conditions, we got a screenshot here from our closings tab on 14news.com. Most tri-state schools are closed once again this morning. And we know while some schools are closed today, others are doing NTI, including Webster County and East Gibson schools. Meanwhile, others have already made their decisions for Wednesday. You can see that full list of closings, of course, scrolling all day long at the bottom of your screen when you're watching 14 News. But again, as a reminder, you can always also head to our website for a look at that closings tab.
All right, and this was an interesting headline we wanted to recap with you here on our streaming show today. A heads up from the Central City Fire Department. Officials say don't be alarmed if you see some of their ambulances out there parked on the road with their lights on. So what's going on here? Officials say that ambulances have actually been getting getting stuck while attempting to respond to emergency calls. Crews say that they are using their pickup truck squad to reach the patients at their homes, and then what they're doing is transporting them to the ambulance that's there on the main road parked off to the side. So you're just asked to give them some space and move around them more than you typically would, even more caution if you see one of those on the side of the road.
Yeah, and with all these storms here in the winter weather, a bit of a brighter story here. Cold hands and warm hearts was the motto for the Owensboro Police Department on Monday. The police department says they joined families as they got outside and enjoyed the snow there. A group of sledders being surprised by OPD officers when they brought them hot chocolate, all courtesy of Dunkin'. OPD posted this sweet video here on your screen on their Facebook saying thanks to Dunkin' Donuts for the generous donation that helped make this winter day even sweeter. Very nice story there.
Definitely. Of course, just a reminder, if even your ambulances are having issues getting places, getting hung up there, it's still, like we said, some roads are passable. I was on the Lloyd Expressway this morning. Patches of it looked great. You'd come up another mile down the road, not so great, especially on those overpasses and bridges, those like to ice over.
Right. And it's improving slowly as the days go on here, but of course it's still so cold out there. The crews are doing the best they can. You're going to see a lot of places where the snow's kind of piled up, where it's kind of freezing now and staying that way. So I know on my street, for instance, I'm parked up against the curb and they've plowed, which is great, but then the plowed snow piles up beside your car, so you've got to drive over this frozen mound every morning and every time I get home. So that's kind of a bummer, but if you've got a high sitting vehicle, you should be okay. But once again, we've talked about it all week long, kind of ad nauseum, with this winter weather. If you can stay home, please do so. If you got to get out to work, we understand. Just take it slow, do all those things. You guys are all pros at this point. You've driven in this before. This is a lot of snow. We've seen snow before, so you'll be all right.
Definitely. We're digging our way out of this one.
Yes,
for
that's
sure.
correct.
Well, that'll do it for our stream show here today for 14 News. Of course, keep it with us throughout the day. We're going to continue to monitor and bring you the latest updates on this massive winter storm that has hit our tri-state and other parts of the country. We're doing what we can to keep you guys safe and informed and just ahead of everything you need to know if you do need to head out the door today, or hopefully those of you that just get to stay in, enjoy it. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow.